welcome to Full Time Devils. This is tomorrow's transfers today for the fourth time in this summer transfer window. My second time on tomorrow's transfers today, and I'm back for you tomorrow as well. But first things first, we have got lots to get through for you today. On today's list, we are talking Douglas Costa, Arnautovic, Lewandowski, Milinkovic-Savic, Alderweireld, loads of long names in there, and Fred. That's who we're talking today. We've got a long list of players to be talking about today here on MUFC, tomorrow's transfers today on Full Time Devils. Hope you're all doing well. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're sharing this video. Make sure you're subscribing to Full Time Devils as well. And make sure you're getting your comments in as we go through all these rumours. Talking Douglas Costa, talking Arnautovic, talking Lewandowski, talking Milinkovic-Savic, talking, of course, Alderweireld and Fred as well. There's been a lot of talk around Fred on today's news and Twitter and all that stuff. So let's get stuck into everything first, because we've got lots to get through, and then I'll read through some of your comments. But remember, make sure you're keeping your comments coming in as well. First thing to talk about today is in Douglas Costa. Yes, Bayern Munich's Douglas Costa. He was on loan at Juventus last season, did well for Juventus as well, and now Juventus could sign Douglas Costa. They've got an agreement with Bayern Munich to sign him on a permanent transfer for £33 million. But what we're hearing is they may not sign him. They may not take up that option of £33 million on Douglas Costa. And because of that, Douglas Costa is being linked with a hell of a lot of clubs in England. The Sun, they're linking Manchester United with Douglas Costa and saying if Juve don't sign him for £33 million, he could be available, and Bayern Munich's asking price would be £79 million. £79 million for a player that Juventus could get for £33 million. What the hell is going on there? You know what Juventus should do? They should say, I'll take that 33 million and then agree a deal with somebody else for like 50, 55 million, make a quick 20 mil. Yeah, that's what United should do. We should get onto Juventus if we actually really want Douglas Costa and work out a deal like that, because he's not worth £79 million, is he? The left-footed right winger, I think he's a decent player. He's quick, he's tricky, got great dribbling ability, can cross the ball as well. I think he's pretty good, but £79 million? Probably not. I don't think United are actually interested in him. If I had to rate this one out of 5, I'll probably give it a 0 or a 1. Do I think this one's going to happen? Hell no. Do I think he's going to be on a move, maybe make a transfer? Possibly. But it's probably the case that Manchester United have just been thrown in the mix with one of these players. Of course, some might say we need a right winger, especially if someone like Juan Mata was to leave Manchester United. But is that guy Douglas Costa? I'm not too sure. You guys get your comments in. Amrit says we need a right winger. Costa is a right winger, says Alex. Yeah, I know, mate. I already said that, didn't I? Crouch. Now what is producer Chris on about in those comments? I thought Fred was a winger, says James. Fred is not a winger. He is a central midfielder, and we will be speaking about him very, very soon. But first, we're going to move on to Arnautovic. Yes, because Arnautovic has been linked with Manchester United. And I tell you what, I would usually laugh about this, but DiMarzio even threw his name out there as well as somebody that is being linked with Manchester United. Now he's 29 years old, 11 goals in the Premier League for West Ham last season, can play anywhere along in a front three, striker, left wing, right wing. He is a decent player. I like to call him a budget Zlatan Ibrahimovic. But is he someone that I want to see join Manchester United? Probably not. Now Duncan Castles in the Arab News, first I've ever heard of those guys, they must be paying Duncan Castles a fair bit of wedge, is saying that United are not only interested in Fred, Milinkovic-Savic, but we're also going for Arnautovic and potentially, what's his face? Mandzukic. But then that got me thinking, Arab News is sources. Duncan Castles. Has he been reading DiMarzio's articles? Has he? Is that who Arab News and Duncan Castles are using as their source this evening? It really does seem so. Because that's exactly who DiMarzio had down in his article earlier on today. Now, what do you guys think of Arnautovic? Now, he could be available for around 25 million pounds. He moved to West Ham for 20 million pounds from Stoke. Do you think United could get him, should get him? What would you pay for him? Could he be a good squad player? Now, M9 Genko is actually excited at the prospect of it. Imagine Lukaku and Arnie as a front two. Gattuso says producer Chris has had too many to drink this evening. Probably. Hell no, says Suk Malik. Ibrahimovic is a god. Okay. And Martial for Dybala. What are you talking about? Okay. James says, no. Who said that? One sec. Comment. Bad Brad said, Arnautovic, are you serious? He's not happy with the links between Manchester United and Arnautovic. Not happy about that at all. But with DiMarzio saying it, there could be something in it. They do only make a throwaway comment on it though. They do only make a throwaway comment on it. So it may just be something like his 4th, 5th on a list if we don't get X, Y or Z. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on from that to a man with another long name. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because I don't think it's true at all. Robert Lewandowski has been linked with Manchester United in the Daily Star. Now, this has emanated from reports in Kicker in Germany. Now, whenever I've read reports from Kicker, they haven't really seemed to be true. Someone might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but they never really have any truth in them. Now, they're saying Chelsea, PSG and Manchester United want Robert Lewandowski. Now, I'm sure those clubs do. Will Manchester United buy a big number 9 who's going to expect to start every single game? Probably not. Romelu Lukaku is just on the back of his best ever season in his football career. He's on the back of that, his best ever season. So I doubt we're going to sign a number 9 to replace him. Arnautovic wouldn't surprise me. It's someone that could play second fiddle to him. Mandzukic, second fiddle to him. Wouldn't surprise me if Jose wanted someone that he thought he could rely on for goals. But Robert Lewandowski, he's not going to come and be second fiddle to anybody. It's not happening. So moving on to Milinkovic-Savic, which was also discussed by DiMarzio in the article about Fred. Now what he said was, United have an interest in Milinkovic-Savic, £87.4 million, 100 million euros, but the move's on hold. We're not going any further. We don't really want to spend that much money on a player that would be backup. That would be backup. That's what DiMarzio said. And now the Guardian are saying United are interested in €100 million, £87.4 million Milinkovic-Savic, but the move's on hold. But we are interested. Do you know what that sounds like? Another newspaper has got their sources from DiMarzio. This guy's feeding everybody out there today, isn't he? Gianluca DiMarzio, the transfer don, feeding absolutely everybody today. Guardian, Kicker, well not Kicker, The Guardian, Duncan Castles, Arab News, Sky Sports. He's feeding them all. Go on, DiMarzio. Anyway, moving on to another story now. Now, BBC's Simon Stone, who's usually quite reliable, has done an article on Alderweireld and Fred. Now, he's saying Manchester United have made inquiries on both players. Moves for both players could be a combined worth of over £100 million. Now, if you take into consideration what DiMarzio was saying earlier, which was around €50 million, £43.5 million for Fred, and you're looking at around £40-50 million for Alderweireld, could be around £100 million. We know how the fees get cranked up a little bit when United are involved. And they say United have made inquiries for both players, could sign both players, and could sign Fred before the World Cup. We're helped by the fact that Fred is in the Brazil squad for the World Cup, and he's training and stuff in England. They've got friendlies in England, so he'll be around England and could potentially do a medical and complete his contracts while he's there before the World Cup, which would be great for Manchester United. Now, obviously, Fred, central midfielder, he's got great defensive abilities as well, but he can bring the ball forward and act as that link between Matic and Pogba. Now, are you guys happy with that link between Manchester United and Fred? Do you want him? Do you think the leap from Shakhtar Donetsk to Manchester United could be too much for a player of his quality, or do you think someone that's in the Brazil squad is in the Brazil squad, keeping the likes of Fabinho out of the Brazil squad, who a lot of Manchester United fans want? Do you guys think that's a quality signing for United? We don't always have to sign the big names, the big money signings that everybody wants to see, because obviously we need to build a team that Jose Mourinho wants, and that works. Sometimes that's not always the biggest names. So get your thoughts in on that one. A move for Fred could be complete before the World Cup. That's reports from Damasio and Simon Stone. Generally quite reliable. And Alderweireld, there's inquiries there as well. We've heard Spurs want to get Delight. Obviously, Pochettino signed a new contract today, so I expect things will be ramped up with him. Could they try and rescue Alderweireld's situation? I don't know. Maybe that one's gone too far, though, and Alderweireld could end up at Manchester United. That would be great, though. Anyway, Alderweireld, I think, would be an excellent signing. Fred, I'm not 100% convinced on him because I haven't seen enough about him, but I like what I have seen, and I'm willing to give him a chance and think he'd be a good addition to the squad. But yeah, Alderweireld as well would be someone that would come in and bring genuine quality into that centre-half area. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the rumours today. I'm going to go over to your comments very soon. Let us know what you're thinking about Douglas, Costa, Arnautovic, Lewandowski, Milinkovic-Savic, Alderweireld, and of course Fred as well. Get your comments in the comments below. Martial goes, he is staying, says someone. I'm worried about Martial leaving, but I'm quietly confident he'll stay. I believe he wants to stay at United. I believe Jose wants to keep him but wouldn't mind selling him. If he said that, if Martial was unhappy, I think Jose would just want to sell him. So I hope Martial's ready to fight for a spot here, because his absolute quality, once he gets that consistency, and he needs game time to help him with that, but he also needs to knuckle down himself. Once he gets that, he's going to be an absolute world beater, and we need to keep him in this team, because United, I think, is my favourite player, man. I'll be gutted to see him leave. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Someone else says Willian talks have gone quiet. That doesn't mean nothing's going to happen, mate. I mean, could still pop up again. I mean, it's a long summer, and we'll be with you throughout all of it. I mean, we've not only got tomorrow's transfers today popping for you as well. We're going to be covering the pre-season tour for you. Obviously, tomorrow's transfers, the day will continue. Loads of stuff coming up for you during the summer. Debates, all of that stuff that you guys love. So make sure you're keeping it locked to Full Time Devils. Liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. We're trying to hit 500k ASAP, so go and do that right now. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to youtube.com/Adam McCullough as well. Anyway, guys, I have been Adam McCullough. I am back tomorrow evening for you guys as well. At the moment, there's no ins, there's no outs, but there's a lot of talk that Fred could be close to becoming a Red. I've been Adam McCullough. I'm out of here.